about some of the traditions I have. One of the traditions I have is we during December, like on the first of December, when we get all of our Christmas decorations out, what we do is we turn off the lights and eat by candlelight, and everybody has their own candle to eat by their plate. And also, what I thought was pretty funny is usually we like to change our sheets like during like I think my mom said like between the equinoxes or something, because you know we use flannel in the winter and then back to cotton in the summer to stay cool. It's weird. And then about every 1 or 2 years, what we do is we get together with a family called the Cahoons, and we go on a camping trip. And last year we went on, can't remember where, but it was somewhere up in the mountains. We had like a lot of fun there. And the last tradition is we love to decorate like crazy, like Valentine's Day, you know. We like to set up like a bunch of Valentine stuff. We love to put lights on our house. We got colored lights, all sorts of lights you can think of, and all sorts of different decorations. Any questions? Mark.
What was the thing about changing during the?
Well, usually, changing. Well, my mom changes sheets, like, you know, it gets kind of cold in the winter.
Lisa, Mrs. Von Smith.
Okay, what was your question?
What do you mean by the changing during the equinox?
Okay, well, the equinoxes are like April 1st and like September 1st or something.
What do you change?
Well, we change our like sheets, you know, the sheets we like sleep on, not like our coverage, but you know, the sheets. Like we turn to flannel in the winter to keep us warm, and then we change back to cotton, which is a bit thinner in the like it's springtime, summer. Thank you.
What? Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Ellie. We have a special guest today, named Benjamin Franklin. First off, let me give you a little bit of background information. This is a guy who is famous for a lot of things. He was an inventor, a printer, a publisher, an author, a scientist, a diplomat, a philosopher, and a statesman. Can you believe it? Well, you better. Anyway, here he is. Let's give him a round of applause. Would you like some tea?
No.
Okay. Can I ask you a couple of questions, Benjamin?
Yes, you can.
Okay, first off, Benjamin, can you tell us a little bit of your early life?
Well, sure. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts on January 1706. I had 17 other brothers and sisters. I was the 15th child and the youngest son. My parents were Hosea and Abiah Franklin. My father was a soap and candle maker. At the age of 10, my father took me out of school because he could not afford to pay. Afterward, I began to study hard, and I managed to teach myself the basic principles of algebra, geometry, navigation, grammar, logic, and natural and physical science.
Thank you. What did you do after you taught yourself all of those subjects?
Well, in 1723, I ran away from home to Philadelphia, where I worked constantly to make Philadelphia a better city. I set up a library in 1731 to let people practice their knowledge. And I organized a hospital for the community. I built a fire department because fires were highly seen, and I also built a post office to allow to send mail on time and as efficiently as possible.
Very well. Whom did you marry? Did you have any kids?
Well, when I went to Philadelphia, I met a beautiful young lady whose name was Deborah Reed, whom I married in 1730. We had 3 children named William, Francis, and Sarah Franklin.
Benjamin, what were the advantages that your print shop brought to the community?
Well, in 1730, I became an owner of a print shop and began publishing the Pennsylvania Gazette. I wrote a lot of articles myself. My name was known highly throughout the colonies. My work was very efficient. In fact, all my work was helpful to the colonies because the paper I published, the colonists would be able to know, excuse me for a second, everything that was happening around them and in England. Without my paper, colonists would not have any idea what was really going on.
Ah, yes, I've heard that before. How did some of your inventions contribute to the society?
Well, one of my inventions that I created was called a lightning rod. A lightning rod goes on top of a house or a building to protect a house from lightning, which would eventually create a fire. Another invention was the Franklin stove, which gave out more heat than any other stove would have. Basically, my inventions contributed to my society because they made Philadelphia a better place to live.
Franklin, is it true that you were the person who helped get rid of the Stamp Act?
As a matter of fact, yes, I was. I went over to the Atlantic Ocean many times, back and forth, and to call off the Stamp Act. I spent many hours speaking with the British and fighting for the Pennsylvanians. Finally, they decided to take away the Stamp Act. In other words, the tax for the use of paper was canceled.
What are the 4 key documents in American history that you signed?
Well, there was the Declaration of Independence, the Treaty of Alliance with France, the Treaty of Peace with Great Britain, and the Constitution of the United States of America. I would also like to add that I was the one and only person to sign off 4 of them in the American history. I'm so proud of myself.
I understand that you had a plan to unite the colonies during the war. What happened?
Well, it all started during the War of 1754, where the French and English fought over land. The Indians fought on the side of the French, but many other Indians fought on the British side. I came up with a plan that was to unite the colonies and defend themselves with the French and the Indians. The delegates agreed, but the colonies did not. My plan tried to bring the 13 colonies together in one general government. I even drew a famous cartoon, which was a snake cut up into pieces that represented the colonies. Underneath the snake it said, "Join or die," but the colonies still said no. The Plan Union contained some of the ideas that were later included in the Constitution of the United States of America.
Thank you, Benjamin Franklin. We appreciate you spending your time giving us this wonderful interview. Audience, do you have any questions? Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Chase Baker, and I'm a 5th grader in Miss Fawn's class at Albert Einstein Elementary. I'll be telling you about some of the goals that I've been doing this year. My first goal is that I want to improve on my assignments and grades. These items here I put in a before and after order. As you can see towards the beginning of the year, I didn't get many completed and on time, which is the first little row right here of checks. Some returned in later, or missing. And then towards the end of the year, I've mostly turned in pretty much all of my grades and assignments. So I think I've been doing pretty well on that. Now the next goal I want to talk to you about is my behavior goal, which is improve the quality of my work. In this paper here, my verb paper that we did just a little after the beginning of the year, some of the stuff I could use a little improvement on my writing, kind of a little maybe sloppy. Oops. But as just a little recent one, I have been using a little creativity and some good smarts on some of these papers. Now, for the goal, I'll try and focus on for the rest of the year is to read at least 10 minutes every day in my bed. I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. Any questions? Hello, my name is Chase Baker, and I will be telling you about the Midnight Ride football review. It all started on April 18th when the Sons of Liberty found out that the British were heading towards Concord to seize powder and ammunition. Then a man named Joseph Warren called up Paul Revere and a man named William Dawes to try and warn people to get ready for that fight in Concord. But earlier, Paul Revere told a friend of his to get ready a horse for him. And that night, after Joseph Warren told them to start off, Paul Revere went over to the Old North Church where a man named Robert Newman lived. And on that night, Robert Newman ran upstairs to the bell tower to hold up 2 lights signaling that the British were coming by water. Then, after that, once he knew, Revere left from his house in a hurry with his dog following right behind him, which later he went back home. His dog went back home. Revere rode through the night yelling, "The regulars are coming." If he had said the British, if he had said the British are coming, some people still considered themselves British but still lived in the area. When Revere got to Lexington, he told John Hancock and Samuel Adams to go warn the people of Concord to get ready for the fight. But then Revere rode on a little farther to warn more people. But when he got captured right in the middle, he couldn't go all the way to Concord. When the British arrived after their battle at Lexington, they saw the Patriots ready to fight, all thanks to Paul Revere. Now right here, the orange route is the British. They went all the way up to Lexington to fight there, and then on their way to Concord. The red line, that's William Dawes' route, and then this pinkish line is Paul Revere's route, and Paul Revere got captured about right there. And now, does anybody have any questions?
What happened to him when he got captured?
I can't remember. When the British captured him, they put him into some kind of jail camp.
Why did the British, if they were going to Concord, then, because on your map, it looks like they go from Boston and then they go up and then they kind of go down to Concord. Why didn't they just go, from Boston straight to Concord? Why they stopped in West?
Well, they wanted to, well, pretty much this isn't quite an accurate map, but technically Lexington is somewhere down here. So on their way to Concord, they stopped at they saw more people at Lexington, and they wanted to fight there, and that's where the shot heard around the world is known there for their battle there.
I thought they never got to come. I thought the British never got to come.
I think they did get somewhere around Concord to try, but the Patriots, they battled out, somewhere around Concord, but I don't know exactly where.
Did Dawes get captured, or did he go all the way?
He went all the way to Concord to help fight.
Did he fight in the? Did he fight in the battle of the?
I don't know.
When? What did the battle of Lexington?
Well, it was around 1775 in April. Hi, my name is Chase Baker. I'm in 6th grade at Einstein Elementary. I'm going to tell you about my goals. One of my goals is to make more quality work at school and on homework, and to do better at math and computation, adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying. For quality work, one of the things I'm going to need to do is work on worksheets and workbooks and stuff like that. and about the math computation, you see, I mostly have problems writing down and getting them correct, and just pretty much borrowing numbers and stuff like that. And to help me, a couple things I could use are just flashcards, practice every day, and have my parents proofread my work some of the time, and maybe one time I had a tutor, and I could get a tutor. So that's one of my plans about doing that. Let's see. And yes, and in a little while, after I've done most of this stuff, I can go back on my work, see how if my grades have improved, and like I said, maybe do some more proofreading for my parents.
Good.
Well, thank you for listening to my presentation. Oh, my poem is called "To the Thawing Wind" by Robert Frost. Come with rain, O loud southwester, bring the singer, bring the nester. Give the buried flower a dream, make the settled snowbank steam. Find the brown beneath the white, but whatever you do tonight, bathe my window, make it flow, melt it as the ice go. Melt the glass and leave the sticks, like a hermit's crucifix. Burst into my narrow stall, swing the picture on the wall, run the rattling pages o'er, scatter the poems on the floor, turn the poet out of door. I chose this poem because when I first read it, it sounded kind of interesting. You know, it kind of had the blues jazzy to it, and that's the reason I chose the poem. And thank you for listening. Did you know that the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido has an annual ice festival every year? Hi, my name is Chase Baker. I will mainly be talking about the northern island in Japan called Hokkaido. I thought one of the main roles that Hokkaido, Japan could play is because in that area, same in Tokyo, some of their high tech influence. Everybody walking around with cell phones and cool digital cameras. Also, Japan is also one of the top export places. But even though they don't make stuff, they use up more energy than they can produce. From my mind, I compared life to the U.S. from Japan. Main U.S. citizens mainly focus adults mainly on work, families, children, and movies, etc. Japan adults and families mainly on religion, school, agriculture, and also high tech. And also, one I thought was interesting was that they have their own baseball league, which has, I think, 10 or more teams. I do not know the name of those teams though. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Hello, my name is Chase Baker. I go to Albert Einstein Elementary, and I'm in 6th grade. My new goal is to try and get an average grade of all my grades put together of an A. One of my good projects that I thought I tried my best on was my Pacific Rim project that I did on Japan. And one of the helping ways of good grade is I can go over this and see how I can do during school. Have I demonstrated quality work, for an example? And also some of the grades I felt I did good on are in this portfolio called My Best Work. I have some tests from math that I'd like to show you that I feel I worked my hardest on. For example, in addition and subtraction of positive and negative numbers. Because at the beginning of the unit, I didn't think I was going to do a good job on that. But it turns out that I got a really good grade. Also, when I went into doing dividing, I also didn't do it in a while. So when I learned how to do it, I felt it was easier getting to the end of that. Also, I'd like to show you some of my language arts things that I did, something that I'm proud of. This is what I did a little while ago, but I still think it's one of my best projects. It's called The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. And also, I like how I use my artistic abilities, in which I created this poster using chalk of a space person. And lastly, my skill homework. This is one of my good grades 1-2. Some of the skill homeworks are getting harder, but I feel I'm working my hardest, getting closer. Thank you for watching my background of most Greeks. Big start of the Greek civilization was around 2000 BC. The Greek Empire centered mainly around Europe and a little into Asia. The people in Greece, mainly the men, started out with long curly hair and long beards. Later, they started to not have beards and have shorter hair. A lot of women were considered attractive if they had curly hair. All of their clothes looked like all they had to do was to throw them on. They never had to sew their clothes. The Greek political power. The Greek government is mainly made up of many city-states. Each consisted of a large town or city with a countryside around it. Athens was the biggest city in ancient Greece. Each one had its own leaders, ran its own army, and made its own laws. The first city-states were ran by kings. Then tyrants and rich men seized power. Then around 500 BC, the form of government called democracy was formed. Hello, my name is Chase Baker, and I'm in Miss Bonsmith's class at Einstein Elementary. Today, I have chosen to give you tell you my presentation on lung cancer. My 4 questions are: what is lung cancer? Where does lung cancer start? What are the treatments? And what are some of the statistics for lung cancer? What is lung cancer? Lung cancer is mainly caused of smoking, because 8 out of 10 people who get cancer, those 8 people get lung cancer more than any other cancer. Lung cancer mainly starts right here in a place called the bronchus, right where the air comes down, and also mainly towards the top of your lungs, called the trachea. Some of the treatments for lung cancer are radiation therapy, in which doctors put high energy rays to shrink the growing blood cells that are causing this cancer. There's chemotherapy, in which they kill the blood cells by injecting medicine, and there is surgery where they just remove the blood cells. Some statistics of lung cancer can be pretty amazing. Lung cancer, of all the people who get lung cancer, it is the leading death of men and women who get cancer. Lung cancer can be fairly rare for people under 40 years old, unless they started smoking when they are young. And also, it is a very bad thing to smoke, because smoking is a very, very bad thing to do, as most of you know. Thank you for watching my presentation.
Why do people get lung cancer if they don't smoke?
That's kind of like, that is,
Can people get it from secondhand smoke?
yes, it is called secondhand smoke. Like if you're around somebody when they smoke, you can breathe it in and get lung cancer.
What is the statistics of people over the age of 40 to get lung cancer?
I didn't find it.
So, what is the when you smoke at a low age, what does it actually do to your lungs? Really?
Lungs, I was gonna bring some pictures, but what it does, your lungs, they're good breathing, but what happens is you get holes in your lungs and your heart beats faster, and
Oh yeah.
and it just makes it harder to breathe sometimes.
How does that actually cause cancer to start growing?
Like, where? Like, what do you mean?
Say your question again.
How does that cause your lungs to get cancer? Like, how does cancer actually start when you start smoking?
Well, cancer, every time you breathe in like a smoke, the smoke gets into your lungs and makes your lungs all black, and pretty much
So it damages your lungs.
yeah, it damages your lungs,
cells.
and that's where the cells start to grow with cancer. Because I just thought it'd be an interesting subject, because I always wondered